What up, everybody? It's ondrethakhan. You know what's going on. You are now tuned in to the Khan TV. Before I start off this episode, go like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so every time I go live or anytime I post, you will be the first to know. So if y'all haven't heard, California made history this week. Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill, AB 3121, which will assign a task force to study and examine a form of reparations to be given to Black Americans in California. Now, this is pretty crazy considering California is the first state to actually pass this form of bill in the country. Vermont, Texas, and New York have been playing around with it, but they haven't solidified it into their legislation. Also too, in Asheville County in North Carolina and in Providence, Rhode Island, on a hyper-local level, on a city level, they've actually passed a bill to assign a task force and study and examine reparations. Now, mind you, this is in the midst of an upcoming election. This is in the midst of a bunch of racial polarity and racial tension. Police killing Black people, you know what I'm saying? All this discrimination that's going on. And then on top of that, the COVID thing, right? So California has a lot of things that it's enduring, at least financially, when it comes to even considering giving Black people money. You know, one of the things that I read and I was suspicious of in the news of this bill that I was reading was that the 9 task members haven't even been appointed yet. You know, I wonder, will these task members, will they be Black? Will they be African American? I mean, surely I'm almost positive they will be, because I don't think Governor Gavin Newsom would assign non-Black people to figure out what Black people need. But who knows, you know, who's going to make up this committee, this task force? The other thing that I noticed was they don't meet until next June. Now, I know there's a lot of government things and there's a lot of minute details I don't understand that goes on in legislation and how to get bills passed and policies and all this other type of stuff, you know? But that's 8 months away, you know what I'm saying? That's June 2021. We're in June 2020 right now. I mean, I'm sorry, October 2020. What the hell am I talking about? Anyway, that's one thing that I noticed, right? The other thing I noticed is, with all this stuff that's going on, how will California even pay for reparations? What will this form of reparations look like? And from what I've read, they still don't know. Some choices, some options, right, will be direct cash payments. You know, maybe they just send us a check. Another could be student loan forgiveness. Maybe they just forgive all our student loans. But what about the Black people who didn't go to college? You know what I'm saying? And are living in California. You know, there's a lot of questions that I have about this bill and about these reparations. But in all honesty, I'm kind of glad that the conversation is coming up. You know, Native Americans receive reparations. The Japanese Americans have received reparations because of what America and the government has done to them. You know, I just wonder when and if we'll ever get these reparations and what will they look like. I do have some questions about it being direct cash payments. You know, will it be like a Dave Chappelle episode where we literally get the cash and we go and spend it on Escalade and Gucci and Louis and all this high-end designer stuff and literally just put it back out into or back outside of our community? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that come to mind, you know. What would this look like? And how would this be on a state-to-state level? Because federally, each state will have to come up with its own form of reparations, right? And there's a lot of things to consider. What about people who are African immigrants, you know what I'm saying, or maybe of Caribbean descent? Will they benefit from our reparations? Will they receive reparations too? Is it anyone who's Black skinned? I know that they say descendants of slavery, but when you use a term like descendants of slavery, and this is kind of like my beef, not gonna say my beef, but my question about ADOS is, how can we be descendants of slavery? If we're to say that we are descendants of slavery, that doesn't really make anything particular, and it has nothing to do with us being Black. Even though our history is being slaves in this country, there were also people who came over in this country and who were slaves before us, or slaves with us. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about indentured servitude. You know, the Irish people and the other people who were slaves at the time, do they seek reparations as well? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Who knows, you know? Tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Do y'all think we'll get these reparations? Do you have hopes? Is there a silver lining with these reparations, you know? What are your guys' thoughts on this whole thing? Like I said, I'm glad that the topic is being brought into conversation. You know, I think these are things that we should talk about, you know, because these other groups have gotten paid off by the government for what they went through. I do think Black Americans should receive some type of benefit or receive some type of reparations from what happened. But what would that look like, you know? So leave a comment, like, hit me up, man. Follow me on Instagram. All my information is in the description below. I'm out.